Hey everybody, Mac and Damer here for OCR Kings, and as you can see, we're wearing our Ultra belt buckles. Right. These things are just fantastic. This marks quite an achievement. This is from our 2022 Ultra in Dallas, Texas. Nice. It was just a fantastic time. Yes. We'd like to share with everybody some tips on how we beat the Ultra. We've done an older video. This is like a more modern, updated.
That's right. And in fact, a lot of that info in those older videos absolutely still applies. Definitely. There's some really good info, and that continues with us going into this Ultra and completing this Ultra. But there's some new twists. We've learned some new things. Absolutely. We've tested some new gear. So that's what this video is about. Just kind of a new mashup to how to beat the Ultra.
Speaking of new gear, I see you're holding something there. I think it all starts with what you're holding right now.
Yeah, that's footwear. 100%.
Totally agree.
It's like, these are still a little dirty.
It's in process.
Yes, so we both...
These are our go-to.
We both are using the same shoes from Innovate. And these are the X-Talon 260 V2s, giant lugs, a little bit bigger splay, a little bit more padding. These are just, I mean, they have Ultra in the name. These are just designed for those longer miles.
Putting in the miles, doing it on the trails, doing it on the course.
We've ran in these for a long time and absolutely comfortable. We've done a lot of miles in these, so we knew that these were going to work for both of us. We even kind of spec'd out what we were going to face at Dallas, so we knew there was going to be some hardball. We knew the terrain was going to be a little bit tougher than something we may find on
softer
the East
mud
Coast. A little bit softer mud.
Trails,
we knew it was going to be a little bit more compact, so the idea of putting a little bit more cushion underneath our feet was important to us.
Absolutely.
So that's specifically why we went after this brand, and we locked in on this shoe, and we both really liked it. And not to mention the giant lugs were just stellar on any terrain, on any obstacle. Very cool. So our top is shoes, but make sure you train in them. Make sure they don't destroy your feet.
Always.
If you need some kind of, like, I happen to have insoles in mine, just a little bit different, and I think you're using the stock in yours.
Stock ones in there.
So it was like we're still tweaking a little bit, but it was like it worked for both of us. So footwear.
Absolutely.
Very important.
Your feet are so unique to you.
Yeah.
You know, he's got the inserts, I don't, okay? You got to take care of your feet. And that comes to our next point, something that you're going to want to put in your drop bin. We'll talk about drop bins in a second. Spare socks.
Yeah.
Spare socks. That was in one of our older videos, and we stand by it. It is absolutely true. What a morale booster.
That's right.
You get to the transition area, your feet are wet, they're muddy, they're sore. You swap out your socks, you put on something dry and nice. It's like just
as you're doing
great.
As you're doing other things and you're kind of getting yourself prepped for lap 2, it was like immediately took the shoes off, took the socks off, just let the feet just breathe for a little bit.
Absolutely.
Let them relax, let the swelling go down, and then put on nice new clean socks. Feels awesome, giant morale boost.
Absolutely.
Even if you put your shoes on and they're wet, doesn't matter. It's like that time is just a huge morale boost.
You're going to get wet again. Going around in lap 2, whatever, but
whatever.
The couple of miles where you're dry, it's just fantastic.
And as you're in the drop and you're like, okay, I still have a lot more of this race to complete. Any little bit mentally is like in the positive.
Totally true.
Totally
it's
worth
a great point.
Yep.
Any morale booster will just keep you going.
Yes.
When you're in the transition area and you're swapping out your socks, I found that something like this was very, very helpful. This is a drop bag from Orange Mud. This is an update from our last video. I use this to just put my feet on. I'm putting on new socks. I want my feet to dry. I don't want to pick up on the bottom of my feet a bunch of crap from the transition area. Yep, so I use this kind of as like a bath mat, if you will. But then when you're done with the race, all of your muddy, disgusting crap goes right in here, so it's a dual purpose thing.
Yeah, that works just not for ultras. That's any race.
Any race.
Just take it off, stick it in the bag, and deal with it.
Stick it in here.
Deal with it when you get home.
Drop bags from Orange Mud. These were great in the Ultra for a multitude of things, and they don't take really any room in your drop bin. These things are fantastic.
Yep. So footwear was our like primary gear one. The next one is just pack. It's like moving around. I was like, where do we go? So you and I both have the same pack.
Yep.
It was like, the reason why we picked this one is just the configuration. There are pockets everywhere. They can hold quite a bit of stuff.
I love this. Is to me the most important is where you put your hydration.
So
it's up front and accessible.
Yes.
Okay. You can do a camelback and all of that, but what I don't like is the weight that pulls back this way. I like having weight pulling me forward.
Yep. And in fact, the pack stays when you got a little bit of that water weight up front. So we both like that. You carry Gatorades, which are totally awesome.
I do.
It was like I do a water and an electrolyte kind of mix. I've got salt tabs. You kind of get all of your salts and good things.
Put those right here. My supplements go right here. Okay. I have a secret weapon in my hand. You've got one on one of your hydration things, right?
Yeah, we know how it works.
This is new. Okay. This was new that we used in the Ultra. Okay. This is a neoprene Koozie.
So back to our idea of a morale boost. It was like we will freeze Gatorades or water the night before and then put them into these neoprene sleeves, and then you carry them with you, and your drinks just stay cold.
They stay cold
forever.
Dude, it was like 92 degrees, 93 degrees Fahrenheit out there on the course. We had frozen a whole bunch of these the night before in the hotel, slipped them into the neoprene sleeve, put them in the vest. Okay, I had one each here, and I had at least one in the pack. That went to round 2, went to lap 2. The one in the pack was still cold.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing.
It's like mile 14, 15. You're in that extra loop on lap 1 of the Ultra, and you go and crack one of those open and you take a sip, and it's cold.
Morale booster. Right there.
Absolutely. So that's a neat trick that we've recently learned.
So, and you don't have to. You can use these things for any race. You can use them for any long run. They're fantastic. You don't have to use them for just an Ultra. You can actually use them,
they do a great job
on an Ultra. What do you think? All right? Super versatile piece of kit that you can use in athletic pursuits
and in fact,
and beyond.
We even have OCR Kings branded.
if you want to look fantastic,
if you're so inclined
on the course, this is a great choice. Not as big as the other ones. Might not keep your drinks quite as cold, but you'll look so much better doing it. Good plug there, Taylor.
That's right. So some of the stuff that we run with during our lap, obviously we started the Ultra pitch black.
Oh yes.
So first thing was like we started with our headlamps. Make sure you got your headlamps on. And those first miles in the dark.
That was so cool.
As the sun was rising or before the sun, very awesome.
That was so different.
Very cool.
You know, nighttime in the desert that gives way to dawn and daybreak over the. Awesome. This is a black diamond headlamp. Yep. Okay, we'll put links to all of these things in the description below.
Yep, totally waterproof, so you don't have to worry about it. Just drop it in your bag as soon as it's bright enough.
Pretty bright, and it's got like a bump, like a high beam sort of fashion. I don't know if that's going to show up on the camera, probably not, but they're super, super bright. And I didn't pack any spare batteries for this thing.
Yeah.
One set was all we needed.
Yep.
You need this in the beginning if you start in the dark.
Or if you're lap 2, if you're finishing in the dark, like don't get caught not having one of those on lap 2.
You could get DNF, thrown off the course.
Exactly.
So this is totally waterproof, goes right in the pack. You could put it in a waterproof bag, like you're holding if you want.
That's a bit of a little secret weapon too, is you can store anything in these different size waterproof bags. So we carry all of our gear here, ton of GoPro spare batteries. We have all sorts of parts that we carry when we're filming out on the course, but it's got to stay waterproof. So you can,
That's amazing.
You can carry an extra layer just in case you get cold after.
Especially Northeast Ultras, you're over here, October. Yeah.
You're out on the course all day, so you never know if you're going to get cold or not. Nothing like a nice dry jacket you can bust out.
Also,
warm up.
Gloves if your hands are cold, or if there's slippery obstacles and you want to swap in and out, you put them. Boom.
So here's gloves. So I don't always use gloves, but I have them. I know some people are glove people. So I do have them, and if I come onto an obstacle and I just see people slipping off and having a hard time, I'll go to the pack, I'll take these out, even if the pack is soaked, They're in the waterproof bag, 100% dry. Get through that obstacle that's been causing people trouble. So I do like the option of having gloves available, whether I use them or not.
So do I. I have one obstacle that I'll use the gloves for, and that's Olympus on the chains. It doesn't tear up my hands. And I put them in a waterproof bag when I'm not using them. So right on. Good point. So, you know, speaking about waterproof bags too, this is the cheapo option, right? This is a snack bag, all right? Kids use these for school. I use these for obstacle course races, namely for the Ultra. This is a tip. I printed out the map, and I had it in here.
It's nice to see where you are in the course and what's coming up. And
Absolutely.
how much longer we're going to be out there.
Oh, cool. On obstacle 18 and 60. Well, we got some more ways to go, but it's nice to know it's another morale booster.
That's right.
Goes right in the vest right here. Boom.
That's right. So we talked about Gatorades and waters and our tip about keeping them cold. What about just straight up nutrition?
Okay. Well, here's a tried and true. Love these.
Yes.
Okay. Dammer turned me on to these.
Yeah.
All right. They're fantastic. Trained all summer, all spring with these.
Yes.
Long runs. You suck down the peanut butter.
Yeah.
It's 190 calories, but there's protein in there.
Yeah, you
and
felt
it's not
like
all sugar.
You felt like you were tanking on some of those long runs. We would eat that, and you would immediately feel the boost. You feel yourself come back.
Feel amazing.
Not so much at this.
No.
So even though we trained with them and ate them all the time, they were really hard to choke down. I don't know if
Couldn't do it.
I don't know if it was the Dallas heat or.
I don't know. The
I don't
adrenaline
know.
is just at this particular Ultra. I could not.
Yep.
I could not do. I'm not down on these, but it was kind of a no-go.
Yeah, that was weird. So some other stuff that we carry are like the gel blocks. So we just listened to our body. It was like, this is just kind of a drinkable gel.
You like those?
It was like you got
I drink
straight up
these.
gels.
After a while too, the sugar and you're gonna
Yeah,
bond. That's why it's nice to have these to even you out. But in Dallas, it was pretty much Gatorade for your friend over here, Mac. So
Yeah, and I tend to do more of the salt tabs. So I kind of just take that. So I do the salt tab option.
did either one of us get any like leg cramps where we were like, we had to stop? No.
Yeah, no.
All right, so between the salt tabs
Yep.
and the Gatorade, don't be a snob. I don't want to hear, oh, you drink that crap? Yes, I do. I've done some.
Widely available.
It's what? Any gas stations. You go to Walmart, you could get like, I don't know, 30 of these for $4. Gatorade. I've consumed the more expensive stuff, the fancy boutique stuff, and I did a scientific study where I read the ingredients. It's the same crap. It's the same stuff. Don't be a snob. Open your mind. Gatorade is widely available. Okay?
Yep, and we do carry the mustards just in case. That's when the cramp does.
Those are so disgusting, but so effective.
They're so gross.
They work.
And you feel like a medic if you're carrying a few of these on the course.
Corman!
And someone's hurting, and you're like, here you go, buddy.
It's like World War II instead of morphine and mustard on the right of his head. We talked about sort of, running with this stuff, and we were eating the peanut butters, and then we tested out the gear, the shoes. Here's something that I picked up in the spring, and I ran with all spring and all summer. This is like a test Pinnie, all right?
Yeah.
You'd be like, dude, who cares? It's just
like
a mesh thing. No, this thing really kind of keeps in some heat.
I mean, train as close as possible to what you expect on race day.
Right.
No surprises. So throwing on another layer, it was like just to know what.
Get used to it.
Just know what it feels like.
How does the pack move on top of this thing? You know what I mean? What's the heat like? How does it feel? What does it smell like when you're done? It's terrible. These are like $5. We'll put a link to these on Amazon. It's not a bad idea to sort of have an idea of what it's going to feel like.
So speaking of those purples, that reminds me, we flew to Dallas this year. So we were there on Friday. So we went to go check out the venue and pick up our packets.
Which was a good idea.
Including our race day purple right here.
So back in the days in New Jersey, there was a mandatory packet pickup, and we're like, whatever. And we were like, no, it's not mandatory, but you know what? If you're flying in, it's highly advisable to go.
If you're in the area. So what we noticed is we put these on just to see what they feel like. they were really
snug.
really tight in the arm. Yeah.
A couple of places.
Dad Bob wasn't happy.
Well, we'll say if anybody out there is of an executive, we'll say age, okay, you know, you might notice that they're going to be a little bit snug in the tum-tum, but also definitely in the arm.
Definitely in the arm, so it felt like it was going to be rubbing.
So what we did was custom mod. Okay, this is like maybe a 2-3 inch cut at the bottom on either side. Okay, it just breaks that elastic waistband and makes it a little bit wider.
Yeah, we felt like it was going to ride up as you were reaching for obstacles, and so
this was for like string bean, like pipe cleaner arms. It was I was going to lose circulation.
Yeah, I didn't.
We cut the armpit,
and we did that in the hotel on Friday night.
Right before.
Just knowing that it was going to feel weird, and we didn't like the feeling. So a little bit of a pre-game modification. So yeah, I mean, again, that just goes back to your gear. Test your gear, run in your gear, train in your gear, do the miles in your gear, and make those tweaks to make that race day as enjoyable as possible, because you're going to be putting in a lot of effort.
So speaking about gear, I see something on your wrist. Another key.
Yep.
Piece of equipment here.
Yeah. So we both run. We're both using Garmin's. I've got an Enduro here, and you've got the Garmin Instinct.
Your old Garmin, as a matter of fact.
Right.
This guy's great guy. He gets the new upgrades. Like, you want the old one? Like, all right, dude, thank you. But these are fantastic. I want to know what's the mileage? How far have we come? Yeah. How far do we have to go? What's our current pace? Yeah. And what's our average pace? Because you can do some math, and you might be like, whoa, we need to pick up that pace.
Yeah, exactly.
We're falling behind.
Another really good one, just for health-wise, is just your heartbeat.
Yeah.
You can actually track how your heart's doing. Yeah. So if you feel like, well, I'm going fast, but all right, I'm starting to feel it, you can look at your heart rate and say, whoa, all right, let me go faster, let me go slower, let me do something, make sure that I stay healthy and feel good.
That's a good point. That's a critical concern for me. So yeah, fantastic. Know your heart rate, and if you need to fall back, this will be a good guide and help you make that decision.
That's right.
So, you know, when you're in the transition area too, so we're getting to the transition stuff.
That's right.
Some pieces of tech to keep this going. I had packed the cord and a USB like sort of power battery back.
You put yours. Yep. I didn't. You definitely went for that. I didn't have that in my repertoire.
I charged.
It's a great idea.
The watch. Yep. I also charged the earbuds. Talk about morale booster. You need to put your head down, make up some miles. You put on some music, you got the cadence, the footfalls, you can follow along.
Especially lap 2.
Lap 2.
Lap 1, it was like you're seeing the obstacles for the first time.
Absolutely.
You're enjoying it. I still didn't mind running with this guy.
We're listening to each other like, jokes. Lap 2 is
lap 2 is like,
I don't even want to look at you.
Oh, he's pushing the pace. I hate him. He's like, I'm pushing the pace.
Huh? Totally. So, usually lap 1, I got one ear out. Yeah, we were
talking and telling jokes and just keeping it moving.
Lap 2, then he moves over to the side where we can't hear each other. So.
That's right.
But no, seriously, these are a morale booster. These are totally waterproof. You have a different version, which is kind of cool. It doesn't go in the ear.
Mine sits outside the ears, so I mean, I don't have anything. I don't like that feeling of those in my ear. Maybe you can hear a little bit more. Who knows? But they both work. They're both waterproof.
Right. Both self-contained. There's no Bluetooth. You don't need a phone to throw music to your stuff. There,
it's got
MP3 right on here.
Yep. Built in, so load your music and enjoy.
So I charged those at the drop-in. Now, one of the best pieces of kit that we had to acquire when we got there, when we got to Dallas. We didn't fly with drop-ins. That would be just too much. We've got batteries and cameras and tech, and I'm sure the security people are like, whatever.
That's right. So we carried everything flying that we could carry. We had the gels, we had our packs, we had our GoPros, you name it, but we didn't have a drop bin.
Right.
So we had to do a little pre-shopping.
So typically, as far as drop-ins, we would normally do something like this if we were local. This is an 8-gallon, typical bin with a lid, screws on.
Yep, so like a 5-gallon here, or even bigger, 8-gallon.
Size doesn't matter.
Yep. But you see all sorts of people bringing bins, bringing like whatever.
Those Tupperware things that you could get at Target or whatever. We flew out there, so we had to go get our drop-ins, and we decided to go to Walmart. That's right. Okay, they didn't have the buckets, they didn't have the right thing. We decided to go with 2 orange coolers.
Oh, it was awesome.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay? For a couple of reasons, not the least of which was the fact that we could at least halfway fill them with ice.
Yeah, we put some ice in there. So, any drinks or any food that we wanted to enjoy.
Lap 2?
When we were
Right in the ice.
it was awesomely cold. So, that was perfect.
Tech, spare socks, anything that we didn't want to get wet, we put in a plastic bag.
Yeah, just put them in a freezer bag, or
socks, one layer, and the second layer were things like these. These rechargeable battery packs.
Right.
So our gear was ready to go, nice and dry, protected by the cooler. Cooler was tall enough that you could sit on top of.
Yes.
Okay, which was fantastic.
Yep.
All right, and our snacks and our chow and our hydration.
Nothing was melted or
Nice and cold.
Yeah,
it's freaking perfect.
Everything was good.
So we got those from Walmart, and then in the end they were returned to Walmart.
In fact, we returned them to Walmart. So, yeah, a little worse for wear, but
pretty fantastic. So to reiterate, the things that we know work: run in your gear, whatever gear you have. Run in it, okay? Yep. If you can get something like this before you go to an ultra, not a bad idea. Running that too.
Get used to another layer. Get used to the gels. Get used to the footwear. Get used to
test your nutrition, okay? One of the most important parts, of course, is take care of your feet.
Definitely.
Find some shoes that work for you. These work fantastic for us. Again, these are the Innovate Ultra Talons. Okay, we'll put some links to these things.
That's right.
Fantastic. And our secret weapon.
That's right.
Okay. Actually, he turned me onto these things. These neoprene koozies. They're really inexpensive, and they keep your stuff nice and
That's
cold.
right. So one thing we were thinking of is just mileage-wise, just training to getting your body ready for the ultra. So, okay, you do a beast and you can barely walk and you've earned the medal and that's awesome, but now you want to take a step to the beast. That's a lot more mileage and a lot more obstacles. So our training cycle just to get ready for the ultra was we wanted to be able to be in that 14 to 17 mile range and be able to do more. So we shouldn't be finishing that 14 to 17 and just be smoked.
Crippled, yeah.
It was like we knew, well, we need to go out and do more. We need to push into the 20s. But if we were comfortably doing 17 and saying, hey, I could go out and do more, like my body still feels good.
Yeah,
we knew we were ready for the ultra. So we knew that Dallas was more of a flatter event, so that definitely was nice. It was like, and the weather worked out to our advantage because it was gorgeous out. It was like, but obviously train and do those miles where as close to what you expect. So if you're going to do your ultra at Killington, it was like, that's awesome, but there better be a lot of elevation
in your training,
in that training, because it was like you will be surprised on race day.
Absolutely, and no joke. No matter where you are, you're in Killington, you're in Dallas. One of the secrets to an ultra, be it a Spartan or you're running a 100-mile ultra, race with no obstacles, you just keep going.
That's right.
You gotta just keep going.
That's right.
If you can get out of that transition area and you start lap 2. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep moving.
The fact that you've started the lap 2 and you got out of that transition,
you're 90% there.
It's a mental game, because you come into that lap and that transition area and you're like, do I have enough? And so there could be some doubts there. Just really push through that. Right. That's why we like the socks, and we like anything that morale boosts.
Have a snack and get out there.
Made us feel good, and we're like, let's go. We were pumped for lap 2.
Oh, that I have to say, that's not like bragging or anything. Yeah. We were like kind of stoked. Like, this is great.
We feel
fantastic. Let's do it.
In fact, we were surprised.
Yeah, we were almost shocked.
Like, I feel great. Do you feel great? It's like, let's go.
And then we put our earbuds in and stopped talking to each other. No, so keep your morale high. Do the training, put in the work. It'll pay off. And just keep moving. And you'll be great. So who knows? Maybe we'll see you out there in the next ultra. But you know what? Until that time, remember, as always,
train hard.
Have fun.